Bruce Farrell, NCN News.
Your home for Hannity each afternoon at 3 p.m. Talk 96.3 and 103.7. Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
Is doomsday here?
The forest fires are starting.
The West is literally on fire.
Dry leaves, that's why they have it. They mocked us when I said, clean your floors, just an expression.
Louisiana, Mississippi, preparing for Hurricane Sally.
Emergency declarations.
Hundreds of officers nationwide.
We are taking guns off the street at great risk to our personal safety.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome in. It is News and Views, the new week, new day, lots to talk about. Senator Tom Tillis and challenger Cal Cunningham will have the first of three debates tonight at 7 o'clock in eastern North Carolina. You can watch the debate on WWAY in Wilmington, WECT in Wilmington, WVBT in Norfolk, and WNCT here in Greenville will all be carrying the debate. There'll be other ways to watch it as well. You can view it via the live streaming. It originates out of WRAL in Raleigh, so some of our listeners over to the western part of our listening area can probably watch it on WRAL. There is a story out today from Speaker Tim Moore. He held a press conference earlier today, and he centered his press conference on the fact that there are a number of people who have signed a pledge, and amongst the pledge, it's a pledge under the banner of American Goals, is the name of the organization, and it is the model is Reimagine Communities Act. They want individuals around the country, state by state, and for that matter on a national basis, to put forth in each of their locales this Reimagine Communities Act. Now, some of the things in this act, you say, okay, well, what's the big deal? But if you get down into the details of it, for example, and there's 5, 6, 7 major categories: good jobs, affordable health care, investing in children, empowering people over special interest, equal opportunity for all, substantial infrastructure, resilience and innovation, clean air, water, and energy. Those are the 7 major categories that this Pledge to Achieve America's Goals, Reimagine Communities Act, covers. But under the Equal Opportunity for All, and by the way, there were dozens, I think there was over 50 state representatives who have signed on to this Reimagine Communities Act, and all 50 of them were Democrats. I didn't see one Republican sign on to this thing. And the major reason why, now this is in the state of North Carolina, now I mean this is a national deal, but what I'm saying is in the state of North Carolina, there were over 50 Democrats on the state level, state representatives in the House and the Senate, that have signed on to this. But under the Equal Opportunity for All, equal pay for equal work regardless of gender or race. So obviously there's not going to be any incentive to work harder to get ahead because everybody will be guaranteed the same salary. Sounds like communism. Yeah, I guess it does. End mass incarceration. So what do they mean by ending mass incarceration? Are we going to shut down all the jails and prisons? Apparently that's what they want. Then they have, under the Equal Opportunity for All, freedom from ethnic and racial profiling for everyone. So if you look at that category and you dig a little bit deeper into this document and find out, okay, what do you mean by freedom from ethnic and racial profiling for everyone? Let me read more details for you on this. Improve public safety by reinvesting policing savings in community-based prevention programs. That is a fancy, polite way of saying we're going to defund the police. Communities are safest when all residents have access to education, jobs, and opportunities to build their lives. That's nice in a utopia. Unless you, now, granted, communism promises that. It never delivers that, but it promises that. Communities are safest when all residents have access to education, jobs, and opportunities to build their lives. Higher education and employment levels are associated with lower crime rates. Police funding, on the other hand, has been shown to have no connection to crime rates. Really? I find that very hard to believe. I'd like to see some empirical evidence on that. And police officers should be able to focus on the problems that they are trained to address. Notably, public safety, and free them from dealing with issues that others are more trained to handle, like homelessness, substance abuse, recovery. The Reimagined Community Act involves impacted communities to invest police savings, improve in youth, health, employment, and housing programs, and to make communities safer. So by and large, you have these 7 categories, and underneath equal opportunity for all, if you dig down into the details, you have dozens of Democrats on the state level in North Carolina that have signed on to this pledge that would defund the police. To talk about this and to give us an update on his press conference from earlier today, North Carolina House Speaker Tim Moore is on the line with us. Tim, welcome back. Good to have you with us.
I'm good. Good to be with you on the show. Hope you're doing well.
We are. We're hanging in there. Tim, in this day and age, I just went through this Reimagine Communities Act with our listeners and gave them just an overview and dug down into this defunding of the police, which is under the Equal Opportunity for All. In this day and age, when just over the weekend we had these 2 officers shot in L.A., we had protesters preventing law enforcement and EMS from taking these 2 police officers into the hospital. They tried to block their way. In Chicago today, we come out and we find out that attacks upon police officers in the city of Chicago are up 5-fold, and yet we have politicians that are actually signing on to this pledge. It's mind-boggling.
Well, and so let's be very clear, too. You have North Carolina State House Democrats signing on to this pledge. Not as many of the senators, but most of the House Democrats signed on to this. And I was absolutely shocked that they did it. And now what they're saying is that, well, that this group really isn't that engaged with them, that they were. This is more from 2018. So I just actually texted to you, Tom, because of the miracles of technology. There was a tweet that came out in June of this year where this group was talking about how they're excited to once again help the House Democrats try to take the majority like they did in 2018. They want to help them now in 2020. And this was in June of this year. And they also, the same radical leftist group, sent $50,000 directly to the caucus. And it appears to have raised a couple $100,000 that they've sent directly to candidates on the Democratic side. And it is absolutely unbelievable. I know down in Pitt County, for example, Brian Farkas, who's running against Perrin Jones, has signed on to this crazy thing. I mean, this is unbelievable. And so we had sheriffs there today. We had 3 sheriffs from around the state who came in and wanted to make very clear that what this group is espousing is truly defunding the police. And to think that House Democrats, including the House Democratic leader, think that this is a great idea is absolutely unconscionable. I was listen when law enforcement reached out to us, some folks reached out to us and said, "You need to know about this." I thought surely this is wrong. They really did not do this.
I know. I mean, I look at this and I say, okay, maybe the nuts up in Minnesota, maybe the people up in Oregon, maybe the people out in California, but to have Candy Smith has signed on to this, as well as Brian Farkas. It is unbelievable. I mean, I look at this, and even though I am 180 degrees opposed to their ideology, if I was advising them, I would say run away from this thing like you run away from the plague.
Well, they apparently their caucus wanted the money. But you look at the Senate. I don't know that Don Davis signed it. I don't think
I didn't see his name on there. I looked for it. I didn't see his name on there.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I mean, this is like far left Portland Antifa kind of agenda here. This is not This isn't liberal. I mean, this is like borderline socialism. I cannot believe they did this, but they did. But so now they're trying to walk it back. So look, if they want to walk it back and say, "Oh, they didn't mean it," then fine. They need to publicly disavow this group. They need to send back, by the way, the couple $100,000 that this group sent them. Right? They need to do that. And you know what? I'll applaud them for that, because I don't care, Republican, Democrat, Independent, who cares? We need to send a clear message to these outside radical leftist groups that North Carolina is not going to be a place that is going to tolerate this idea of defunding the police. So you know what? We'll see. We'll see where they stand. We'll see what if they actually do that. You know what? They may double down. They may decide just to keep the money and push this radical agenda. But you know what? The good news is we're starting elections, and the voters will get to decide on this.
Well, and this is so close to the election, even if they try, I mean, they'd have to have a major effort to walk this back and publicize that they're walking this back just to break even. I mean, we're so close to the election at this point.
Well, that's true, but it's, of course, they just got all this money from them back in June and July, and they signed, and a lot of the folks have re-signed these pledges this year. You got to be careful when you sign a pledge. And if you've got a group that's talking about putting hundreds of thousands of dollars in with an agenda that they want you to look at, number one, you always ought to look at that if there's people putting money in for a position you take. But let's just get past that. A position like this, I mean, this is real. I mean, you've got there in your area with this. I've never met Brian Farkas. I don't know him, but he must be a really radical leftist. To sign this, he is advocating defunding the police. So anyone who is worried about the safety in their community needs to think twice about voting for someone like this. I mean, this is as real as it gets. I mean, look at what we're seeing. Like you were talking about a minute ago, you had 2 officers who were shot in L.A. You had a group of people that were blocking the entrance, hoping, saying, "Let them die." I mean, What does the world come to? I mean, what does it come to? And you've got these leftist organizations like this, these other things funded by George Soros, and all these organizations that are really creating massive destruction and really doing a lot of damage to the very fabric of this nation. And I'm like a lot of people. Election day can't get here soon enough, but I'll tell you something. The people of this state need to realize and see that it's not just radical leftists on the West Coast or up north. We've got them right here in the North Carolina House with Democratic members here. And I'm really, really disappointed with a number of my colleagues. I cannot believe they signed on to something like this. And guess what? When I see them one-on-one, I'm going to tell them the same thing.
I think there's a term for people who drop their moral standards and do anything for a buck. I think there's a term for that, but we'll just let that slide.
Right.
What kind of coverage did you get? Did any of the mainstream media show up for your press conference today in Raleigh?
So, we had all of the major networks here in the Raleigh, in the Capitol Press Corps that were there, the newspapers. And so we had good coverage there. And we are actually going to go on the road with this. We're going to go to the communities where these members signed. I mean, we'll probably be down in Pitt County talking about it.
Well, come on. Come on to the program. Here's your invitation right here. We'll give you the whole hour. Let's talk about it.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
Well, thank you. I imagine we'll go to Charlotte. We'll go to Winston-Salem, Greensboro, Fayetteville. We'll travel the state. But I'm going to tell you something. I was genuinely and legitimately surprised when I heard this. I mean, my first reaction was surely they didn't, but they did.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pushing such a radical agenda. Can you believe that North Carolina House Democrats want to defund the police? Unbelievable.
Well, it is. And again, politically speaking, whether you agree with it or not, there's just certain, it's the third rail of politics. I mean, it's like defunding Social Security. You don't defund the police, especially in North Carolina, especially in the midst of what we have going on in this nation. I mean, it makes you see the headlines, again, going back to the story out of Chicago and L.A., and elsewhere. I mean, up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, little Lancaster, Pennsylvania, a smaller town than Greenville, North Carolina. You have a man, I don't know what he was on. He was attacking his sister with a knife. He came at the police officers, and the whole thing's on video, attacking them with a knife. And literally, they had to they warned him. He kept coming, had this big blade. They shot and killed him. And they immediately they call in the Antifa, the Black Lives Matter, and they start wrecking Lancaster, Pennsylvania, when it was clearly within the proper protocol for the police to put this guy down. the average voter and the likely voter, I don't care what party you're in, you look at this and you just say, that's not right.
No, it's not. And I mean, there really are very few issues that we talk about in politics that are matters of life or death and true matters of personal safety for folks. But this is it.
Yeah.
And if you've got House Democrats deciding they want to give support to folks who want to engage in violence. Oh, and let me mention one other thing. This talks about the funding piece and just reallocating resources and defunding them. They also don't want law enforcement to be able to get access to military surplus with things including riot gear. Now, why is that? Why would they be opposed to our law enforcement agencies having access to riot gear?
Because they want
they don't want to.
They don't want them to have the upper hand, obviously, to protect the citizens.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable. And so I sent to you, Tom, on your page. Certainly put it out there if you want to.
Do it.
The tweet that actually is proof positive from June of this year, where this same group is there. But it's easy. I mean, once you see it, you click on this group, you see their list of agendas, and it's not just a general agenda. They actually have a model bill. They have a sample bill that these legislators can turn around and file for the state of North Carolina to really put this radical agenda in our state law. And that should really give folks pause that almost 50 Democratic House members or candidates signed a pledge to do that with the net effect of defunding law enforcement in the state.
I don't know if you've read through the entire pledge, but parts of it are actually humorous. I mean, at one point, they have something in there that they want affordable, quality health care, and they want to guarantee a life expectancy of at least 84 years. Now, I'm not sure how they're going to pull that off, but I guess when you're radical, anything goes. I guess, why don't they just outlaw death? Wouldn't that be a little easier to do it that way?
There you go. There you go. Well, and look, they've got a lot of other stuff in there. They have what's called the red flag laws that'll make it easier to seize guns. Which is the thing that a lot of folks are really concerned with. There's a lot of really radical left agenda stuff out there. And but look, so this is the way. So this is my advice to my friends on the House Democratic side. This apparently is what you believe. So you know what? Embrace it. Don't hide from it. Just tell the voters and let the voters decide. The worst thing I think that these folks who signed this pledge could do is to either start trying to just back away from it or whatever. Just unless they genuinely feel that way. But I'm going to tell you, if you look at some of the votes on the budgets where we have proposed massive increases in spending for law enforcement, and a lot of these liberals voted against this, unfortunately, I think it's probably consistent with what they believe. But you know what? They need to own it. Yep. They need to explain to the voters how the voters of this state, how the people of this state are going to be safer by spending less on law enforcement. I want to see them try to sell that message.
I hear you. Tim Moore calling in from Raleigh. Tim, in all honesty, put us on your calendar. When you come down here, you come in and spend the hour. We'll open up the phone lines and everything else. This is too important to let it slide. And again, Candy Smith signed on to this pledge, as did candidate Brian Farkas, who's running against Dr. Perrin. Know where these people stand. And again, I agree with you, Tim. I think, well, I shouldn't say what I think they think, but my hunch is they didn't even bother reading it. They said, "Oh, you got some money for us? Yeah, give us the money. Sure, I'll sign it." Didn't even read it. If they,
but I tell you what, I certainly think that is that's a question that they need. That I hope the media will ask them, and I want to see what their answer is.
Bingo. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it, brother. Keep up the good work.
Good to be on with you. Take care.
Talk to you soon. We got to take a time out. Stay with us. Much more to talk about. Love to hear from you on this issue. 561-8255. We'll be right back.
Experience a Southern culinary revival when you eat at Old Colony Smokehouse in Edenton. They would cook traditional Eastern-style chopped barbecue, Texas beef brisket, chicken and ribs every day. All their sides, sauces, and desserts are all handmade in-house using family recipes. Old Colony Smokehouse is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. until they sell out. So get there early and enjoy great down-home cooking. Old Colony Smokehouse, 802 West Queen Street, Edenton.
Hunting season is here, and it's time for a visit to Greenville Marine Outdoor Shop. Just outside of Greenville, a Marine Drive, Greenville Marine Outdoor Shop is your location for all your hunting supplies. In addition to guns and ammo, they have a complete archery pro shop with a full-time boat tech on site, plus sportsmen on staff to answer your questions. Whether you need hunting, fishing, clothing, or outdoor supplies, make Greenville Marine Outdoor Shop your one-stop destination. Open Monday through Friday till 5:30 and Saturday to 12:30.
There have been many changes in the automotive world. At Phelps Chevrolet, the Phelps boys are here to take care of you. Mike, Daryl, and 4 of Mr. Phelps' grandsons, Wade, West, Allen, and Clay. You see, things at Phelps remain the same. The Phelps team has served Eastern North Carolina for over 50 years. We make your visit easy and fun. We are your neighbors, and that's what neighbors do. Phelps Chevrolet in Greenville. Like Mr. Phelps' great-granddaughter says, come in and get you one.
Know what I like most about my new phone from US Cellular?
I don't know.
That it was $700 off.
What? Switch to US Cellular and get $700 off the latest phones. US Cellular. Choose fair.
Promotional pricing requires an unlimited everyday or even better plan. New line port-in credit approval qualified smartphone purchase and comes via monthly bill credit on a 30-month retail installment contract. Taxes, fees, and additional restrictions apply.
Does the idea of going to your local U.S. Cellular store make you feel a bit uncomfortable? Tired of the hassle of waiting and wearing a mask? Let Toby Williams and his outside sales team take away that worry. They will come right to your home or office and drop off your phone on the porch or at the front desk for you. Saving you time and worry is what the team at Cellular Warehouse is all about. Call Toby today at 252-799-7051 and let them help you with all your wireless needs. Cellular Warehouse, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent. Call 252-799-7051.
Hey, Dad, what's for dinner?
How about CPW's?
Is that the restaurant with the really good lasagna?
It sure is.
Is that the place we got the awesome meat pizza?
Yep, that's the place. Should we do dine-in or take out?
I'm tired of eating it. Let's go there!
Just say no to cooking tonight and bring the family, or make it a date night at CPW's. CPW's is open daily at 3 p.m. and has been serving the Greenville community since 1995. CPW's in the Food Lion Shopping Center near the hospital.
Summer means sun and fun, and Bertie County peanuts are a summertime family favorite. Small batch, hand-cooked, and 100% guaranteed, Bertie County peanuts are perfect at the beach, on the river, or sitting on the front porch watching the day go by. Order online at BertieCountyPeanuts.net, give them a call at 800-457-0005, or drop by and taste the tradition at Powell & Stokes in Windsor. Bertie County Peanuts, North Carolina's best summertime snack.
Your week.
Police officers, I'm praying for you.
Your news every day as events happen.
Convalescent plasma for patients.
We'll happen to be there.
We can't have Joe Biden rule the country and have no police. Joe Biden's agenda is made in China.
Back to the show that really makes you think.
Come on, man.
Here's Tom Lamprecht with more news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. It is News and Views for a Monday. Taking a look at your weather forecast, a chance of showers and thunderstorms continues until about 7 o'clock tonight. Then partly cloudy, pleasant tonight, low of 62. And Tuesday, actually today is the last day of the week that we will be this warm. It got up to 84 today. The next high for the week is 80 on Thursday. Otherwise, we're going to be in the upper 70s for about the next 7 or 8 days. So good-looking weather coming up with a slight chance of showers here and there. Lows will be in the mid-60s in the evenings, and highs will be mid to upper 70s with a high on Thursday of 80 degrees. So good weather forecast. So and when we were talking to Tim Moore, I mentioned the fact that up in Lancaster, Sunday night, the idiots came out, the thugs, the paid protesters, George Soros's group. There was 100 protesters. Stop and think about it. Okay, when people are causing riots and there's 100 protesters, I doubt if Lancaster even has 100 police officers in the entire force. Just guessing. Maybe they do. But nonetheless, they had 100 protesters come out. Lancaster is when I lived in Baltimore decades ago, Lancaster was not that far from Baltimore. We used to go up there once in a while. Dutch Wonderland country up there. I mean, it is quaint, it is nice, it is peaceful, it is quiet. I guarantee you, out of those 100 protesters, if there was 5 that lived in Lancaster, I'd be shocked. Probably all 100 were bussed in. So you had 100 protesters, and again, you can go online and Google. You can go to the Washington Examiner, the Washington Free Beacon, and any of these, Fox News, and you can see the video. So this man was threatening his sister in Lancaster. The sister called 911 at 4:15 Sunday afternoon, asking for the police to help her. Her brother was behaving aggressively, trying to break into her house. The guy's name was Ricardo Munez. Sounds like an Hispanic name. I don't know. The police arrived. He turned on them. Had a large knife, large blade. They told him, put it down. He wouldn't. He kept coming at them. They warned him several times, put it down, stop, put it down. He kept coming. They shot, they killed him. They're perfectly justified. I mean, what's a police officer supposed to do? Justified. You can say, well, I could shoot him in the leg. I mean, look, the guy was, who knows what he was on? You have that. At the same time, you have the Chicago police chief coming out and saying attacks on police officers are up 5-fold. These police officers, no doubt, I mean, they didn't know whether there was a gun in his pocket. No doubt they were very familiar with the story that happened earlier in the weekend, where 2 police officers were critically shot, ambushed. It looks like they're both going to survive, but we're both in critical condition. Both were young police officers, just been in the force for less than 2 years. One of the police officers, a female, has a 6-year-old son. The other male was, I think she was in her early 30s. The other was in his late 20s. And again, the idiots block the ambulance from arriving at the hospital. So that's the picture that America is seeing. Here's an interesting poll for the upcoming election. I mean, we have all kinds of polls out there, and we follow them, and we report on them. But I really think these kind of polls, I mean, there are other things that you can observe, which I think tells you a more qualified poll than Rasmussen or CBS News or the Wall Street Journal or any of these other, polling places, and there's dozens of them out there. And I'm not saying they're all wrong. Some of them are good. But I do put more faith in this kind of stuff. For example, I put more faith in the rallies that you see right now. Now, Donald Trump is having his rallies. He's having several each week, and they're packed. I mean, there's thousands of people showing up. Under COVID, it doesn't appear that there's as many as there were 4 years ago. But they're still packed, and the enthusiasm is unbelievable. You look at Joe Biden, he's back in his basement. And I think now they're going under the excuse of he's following the science. He's very cautious, and he's also very old. He probably don't want to catch COVID because it'll kill him. In all honesty, I mean, I'm not. When you're his age, you have to be very careful. But I think one of the reasons Joe isn't going out, maybe it's the excuse of COVID, but one of the reasons he's not going out and about is because he couldn't attract a crowd. It'd be totally embarrassing. I don't know if you saw the story from last week when he flew into Michigan. He had that rally up in Michigan, which wasn't a rally, but, he stood in front of a bunch of Ford trucks and gave a speech, told the union workers how important the union was. But when he showed up at the airport, there was a crowd there. And they were waving flags and holding up signs. The only problem was for Joe is they were all Trump signs and Trump flags and Trump supporters. Not one Joe Biden supporter in the entire crowd. Those are the kind of polls that I think you pay attention to. But here's another poll that you need to pay attention to. This is out of the Free Beacon. Former mechanic Sean Shriver bought a storefront about an hour outside of Pittsburgh years ago. He created a 400-square-foot gun shop that he runs with his wife. They sell guns, ammo, and holsters to their neighbors. They normally carry about 150 pistols on any given day. But there hasn't been many regular given days since the onslaught of the coronavirus, as well as the public unrest that emerged in late May. This is a guy talking here. This is guy Sean Shriver talking. He says, I've got 3 pistols in the store. That's it. A similar story has played out in many gun stores across the country in recent months. Shriver's experience may be more relevant to understanding the electoral implications of the recent riot-inspired gun sales spike because of where it's happening, a small town at the southwest tip of a swing state that could play a key role in electing the next president of the United States. Quote, after COVID hit, we sold out of ammo, he said. Then they started with protesting, and a lot more guns started going off the shelves. Pennsylvania is not the only bellwether state where this is happening. A broader look at monthly sales data, as measured by the FBI background checks, confirms swing state voters' eagerness to arm themselves in 2020. Background checks for gun sales shot up 4.2 times higher than average in Michigan in June, 3.8 times in Arizona, 3.6 times in Florida. This is all just in June. With the exception of Minnesota, they didn't go up more than twice as much. They only went up 1.9 times. I mean, all these swing states and even liberal states, I mean, I don't think Minnesota's a swing state. I think that's purely liberal. But these swing states, gun sales, and their gun sales are up everywhere, but they are exploding, going through the roof in these swing states. Gun dealers and activists in Pennsylvania, Florida, and Wisconsin told the Washington Free Beacon they expect the influx of new gun owners to have a significant electoral impact. Quote, I've long said that gun owners become gun voters, said Aaron Pallett, a Florida resident and founder of the, are you ready for this? Founder of the LGBTQ gun rights group, Operation Blazing Sword. Quote, these mass purchases of guns for self-defense indicates an unprecedented level of distrust by the average American of the government's ability to keep them safe. The folks already own these guns now, and Wisconsin folks are going to use the things they spent their money on, Rob Kovac, president of the Wisconsin Firearms Owners, said. Swing state dealers and advocates have seen a rush on their inventory as Election Day approaches. They are confident that the surge will create new gun voters, but they have yet to see new gun rights activists. And with COVID, the economy, and civil unrest dominating the 2020 elections, it's not clear gun rights will break through as a significant factor despite the stark contrast in policy proposals from Trump and Biden. Listen, I think they are making, they might not be activists. They might not be going out and doing what the nut jobs on the left do, Antifa and Black Lives Matter and the other anarchists are doing. But the bottom line is they are speaking loudly. Because when you go out and buy a gun and train yourself and buy ammunition, first of all, you're talking about a fairly hefty investment for the average family who probably doesn't have a whole lot of extra cash in their pocket anyway. Plus, you're talking about a lot of time to go through the process of either getting a permit or getting your concealed carry and training yourself in it. And this one individual who said gun buyers, gun owners become gun voters is absolutely right. Look, these people are smart enough to realize, okay, who is going to protect my right to own a gun and protect myself, and who is going to try to take it away? If these people are out there purchasing a firearm to protect themselves, they're not going to turn around and vote for the party that would like to take that away. And if they are investigating how to go about purchasing a gun, they're also investigating, for the most part, these are going to be informed individuals who are going to know where Joe Biden stands and where Donald Trump stands. And it's pretty obvious where they stand. You look at this. When it comes to the point they can't keep guns on the shelf, that a little gun shop 80 miles southeast of Pittsburgh normally has 150 guns on the shelf. They're down to 3. What does that tell you? I got to tell you, I'm trying to think of what town they're talking about. It's got to be a pretty small crossroads, and yet they can't keep guns on the shelf. Go to any of the gun stores in eastern North Carolina. I mean, some have a few, but you ask them how their inventory is, it's depleted. People are voting their conscience, and part of the evidence of that is how they're spending their money right now in protecting themselves. I would say this is a very, very good story for conservatives and for Trump supporters. We'll be right back.
Whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline in my veins.
With rates being historically low, now is the best time to buy or refinance your home. This is Talbot Green with Angel Oak Home Loans. Now is the time to take advantage of the opportunity to buy more home or refinance your current mortgage. The combination of our local team's experience and Angel Oak's wide offerings of products from standard conventional, government, and portfolio loans has something for most financial situations. For more information, call Talbot Green, Joanne Weir, or Wanda Hager at 751-2060.
NMLS 1719250 and 685842. Equal housing lender.
Cal Cunningham makes government work for himself. Cunningham billed taxpayers for 28 days of expenses, even though he only showed up to work for 6 days. That's right. Cal Cunningham billed taxpayers for nearly a full month of expenses, even though he only worked 6 days. That's shady. Cunningham also took nearly $40,000 in tax credits for a home renovation project, using a tax break to add a butler's pantry and wet bar in his house. A tax break to add a wet bar and butler's pantry? Really, Cal? He also blasted the COVID relief program, while the company that paid him took the cash, raking in up to $2 million from the program Cunningham criticized. Sound corrupt? That's Cal Cunningham. He says one thing and does another. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Warm weather is here, and if you're looking for some great new furniture for your home or your beach or river place, you need to shop in Snow Hill at Hardy Appliance and Furniture, because it's never been more true that you get a better deal in Snow Hill. You have to see some of these coastal living items to believe them. Just gorgeous, including coastal living sectionals and sofas with washable slip covers made from stain-proof Krypton fabrics. These are really high-quality sofas, but at a great price. And Hardy Appliance and Furniture will deliver to your beach or river place, so you can get a great price and great service without paying resort prices. Coastal Living's given Hardy Appliance and Furniture extra inventory because they're moving their plant, so there's never been a better time than now to buy. Carl Hardy is passing along the discount he's getting from Coastal Living right now to you. So don't miss these great deals before the inventory is gone. Hardy Appliance and Furniture on the Square in Snow Hill. Remember, you get a better deal in Snow Hill.
You know it's easy. Buying a Toyota with Massey Toyota's Easy Pass. You can save time when you start your deal online from the comfort of your own home or office. There's no runaround, just great prices and great service. When you shop online at Massey Toyota, you get our best prices. Plus, you can value your trade and get pre-approved quickly and easily. We'll even deliver your Toyota right to your door. Small town, big savings since 1938. Massey Toyota in Kinston.
Mow like a pro with Grasshopper Mid-Mount True Zero Turn Mowers. With cutting widths ranging from 41 to 72 inches, fast speeds, and a big fuel tank, you can mow all day and finish before the sun goes down. Snow Tractor can show you Grasshopper fingertip control for every agile move and total command by the yard. For more info, give Larry a call at 252-746-8200 or stop by Snow Tractor on Highway 11 in Ayden today. Now's the time to see for yourself that Grasshopper is first to finish, built to last.
Back to news and views. Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in News and Views for a Monday, 16 minutes before the top of the hour. By the way, we've got a new website. Our Facebook page is still working if you want to go there. But if you want to see a lot more stories and stuff, and most of the stuff that's on our website also is shared on our Facebook page. But it's a good-looking website. Clark Willis, my producer, has been working tirelessly on this for the last couple of weeks. And Clark, you've done a great job. If you go to newsandviewswithtom.com, newsandviewswithtom.com, got a little ring to it. You like that? Newsandviewswithtom.com. You can see the new website. Plus, if you go there, the video that Tim Moore was talking about and the tweet, right towards the top of the page, you'll see it says September 14th, 2020, and I think Clark's going to change that so it says this is the video that Speaker Tim Moore was talking about. So if you want to go view that, it's right there on newsandviewswithtom.com. The Boo Birds came out at Arrowhead Stadium during the NFL season opener. I didn't watch any. I'm not going to watch any NFL this year. Didn't watch any yesterday. What was interesting, though, is Gallup has done a new poll for 6 industries, which determines the positive or negative image that Americans have on certain industries. For example, if you look at the healthcare industry, 38% of Americans in August of 2019 had a positive view of the healthcare industry. That actually increased to 51% in August of 2020, 13-point increase, percentage point increase. Farming and agriculture, which has always had a pretty high image, 58% in 2019, August 2019. It actually jumped up 11%, 69%. So if you're a farmer, we got a lot of farmers in our listening area, Americans love you. Pharmaceutical industry, not so good, but they are actually going in the right direction. In 2019, they had a 27% positive image. That increased by 7%. The internet went up by 6%. The travel industry, I guess people, don't want to get on airplanes and those sort of things right now. Their image decreased by 11 percentage points. Sports, the whole sports industry has dropped by 15 percentage points. It's gone from a 45% positive to a 30 positive. So there you have it. People, they do not have a good now. Whether or not that includes college sports, I sort of doubt it because I don't think people look at college sports as an industry. Now they might look at ESPN as an industry that carries college sports, but overall, sports going in the wrong direction. How do you implement a racial quota system in college admissions when it is illegal to do so? The Supreme Court's come out and said, no, you really cannot do this racial quota, and they still do it. But it's technically illegal now. There have been a number of cases where they're saying, you know what, no, you cannot set aside a certain percentage and say, okay, you guys can come in. You can't. It's supposed to be upon your merits. Now, whether or not they're actually doing that is quite questionable. But how do you get around that? Here's how you do it. If anybody's listening that wants to implement this, the University of Chicago's English department will only accept graduate school applicants interested in Black studies for the 2020-2021 admission cycle. According to faculty statement on the department's homepage, the graduate program is accepting, this is right there on their homepage, is only accepting applicants interested in working in and with Black studies. So they're not saying you have to be a certain gender, a certain race, a certain ethnicity. But what they're saying is we're only accepting applicants interested in studying Black studies. The department defines Black studies, are you ready for this, as encompassing African diaspora literature and media, as well as the histories of political struggle, collective action, what does that mean, and protest that Black, Indigenous, and other radicalized peoples have pursued. Dated July 2020, the statement pledges solidarity with Black Lives Matter in its struggle against inequality and brutality. Would you actually pay money to attend any of these classes? Mom and Dad, before you sign a check, you might want to find out what your kids are taking. We've got to take another time out. Stay with us. I'll be right back.
No one needs long car rides when they're feeling sick, so it's good to know Vidant offers quality care close to home. For help with colds and flu, see doctors online at vidantnow.com or visit our immediate care clinics for sprains and pains. And when it's more serious or life-threatening, go to the closest ER at your local Vidant hospital. With this many choices so near, you're always close to feeling better. Learn more at vidanthealth.com/carelocal.
Divorce is never easy, but there's a right way and a wrong way. At A&R Law, the law firm of Ashley Nicole Russell, healthy divorce is what they emphasize. For the greater good of everyone, there's a way for a divorce with integrity for both sides. That's why Ashley Nicole Russell wants you to know you have options. At A&R Law, their focus is to help you and protect your children. Traditional litigation settlements are very costly and no one really wins. Ashley Nicole Russell initiated the concept of collaborative divorce in Eastern Carolina, and it's helped countless families. Ashley Nicole literally wrote the book on this concept, The Cure for Divorce Culture, and she speaks all over the country to help promote the idea of healthy divorce. If you're currently experiencing conflict, please call the offices in Greenville, Beaufort, or Raleigh and let them walk you through the steps that can lead to a positive, life-changing experience for you and your children. Learn more at anrlaw.com. Attorney Ashley Nicole Russell can show you a better way to divorce.
Powered by Clean Surface Technology, PPG introduces their newest innovation called Ultralast. It's an interior paint plus primer engineered for unmatched washability. Ultralast brings research and technology from PPG Automotive and Industrial Coatings divisions to create a super premium interior paint that's now available to you. Just visit your local PPG paint store in Greenville, Goldsboro, Wilmington, or Newburgh. To help make your color choice easier, PPG Paints has a virtual room painter online where you can use pictures of your house or sample rooms provided. Just visit ppgpaints.com and launch the visualizer. Whether your job involves interior, exterior, or protecting an uncommon surface, find out what professional painters and contractors already know. Your local PPG store is hands down the right place for paints, stains, and coatings. Plus, the friendly professionals at PPG are knowledgeable and willing to help. PPG Paint Stores, Greenville, Goldsboro, Wilmington, and Newburgh.
The Wash House Laundromats is a family-owned and operated business serving North Carolina for over 50 years. Our motto is clean clothes fast. Most locations open 24/7. We have the largest washers, hottest dryers, and save you time with friendly staff and upfront parking. We can handle any size load. Hotels, motels, gyms, hair salons, and other businesses love using the Wash House Laundromats. Thank you to all our patrons, the wonderful communities we serve, and our amazing team members. God bless you, and God bless America.
And here's the snap. Crack open a Hampton Farms in-shell peanut, and the game's in your hand. The only peanuts with flavor roasted inside the shell, Hampton Farms are healthy, high protein, and fun to crack open and crunch. In your backyard or on your flat screen, bust open classic game day in-shells with Pirate football at home. Find us in the produce section of your local grocery store. With Hampton Farms, every day is opening day. Go Pirates!
News and views.
He's kind of a diva. He's absolutely fascinating.
Ultimate gentleman spy. Irresistible to women, deadly to his enemies, a legend in his own time.
You won't believe what he's going to say next on Talk 96.3 and 103.7. Here's Tom Lamprecht.
Welcome back in. 7 minutes before the top of the hour. A U.S. appeals court today sided with President Trump over his administration's decision to end humanitarian protections for hundreds of thousands of immigrants, many of whom have lived in the United States for decades. The 2-1 ruling, a panel of 3 judges in the California-based 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, reversed a lower court decision that had blocked Trump's move to phase out so-called temporary protected status for people from El Salvador, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Sudan. Now, just to back this up a little bit, to understand what this is talking about, there is this TPS, temporary protected status, for individuals from certain countries that perhaps have gone through either war or a natural disaster in which they are allowed to live in the United States until the situation is rectified or cleared up, or the natural disaster is passed and the country is rebuilt to some form of fashion. Well, what has happened is Donald Trump said, okay, we're going to enforce the original rules of the temporary protected status. The American Civil Liberties Union said you can't do that. And by the way, they've already said they're going to appeal to the full en banc court. Excuse me. But the American Civil Liberties Union is saying this is not fair. You're not allowed to send these people back, even though Donald Trump is following the rules. So the Ninth U.S. Circuit, the panel of 3 judges, has said Trump has every right to do this, and they need to be sent back. And there will be an appeal. Why is it when Donald Trump follows the rules and does what's simply in the law, he is vilified? But if it's a liberal cause, a bleeding heart's cause, we need to let those people stay here. No, we let them in with the agreement, okay, you can come in until your country gets back to how it needs to be. Once that happens, you have to go home. It's called following the rules. Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax, he and Ralph Northam. Ralphie is the senior guy, the governor, and Justin Fairfax is the lieutenant governor. He has come out and said he wants to run for governor of Virginia in 2022, despite the fact that 2 women have accused him of rape. He has actually come out and said, you know what, that's not a big deal. The voters are smart. That's not a big deal. Unbelievable. Yeah. These guys are, it's interesting. We'll see how it goes. I mean, that election's a long way off at this point, but he said he's running. Hey, thanks for being with us. Our thanks to Tim Moore, and thanks for you for listening in, being a part of it. We'll do it again tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
Go Eco!